Hello everybody, how are you doing? Welcome back to Man City Unplugged, your very own Man City fan channel. That picture you see on the screen, that must be really surprising. I was very surprised. I mean, yesterday we've been linked to David Raum, sort of an unknown player. I guarantee most of us, 99%, wouldn't have heard of David Raum. But Mathis Deleft is a different case. We have been linked to him back in 2000, in that 2019-20 season, I remember. I'm sorry, 2018-19 season, I remember when Ajax made it a long way in the Champions League. Deleft was one of the best defenders in the world right then, and Pep really wanted him right then. And but now I'm a little bit surprised by our interest in Mathis Deleft. Again, I'm telling this transfer window, fees, money will not be a question. If Pep wants Deleft and Deleft costs 100 million, we will go for Deleft because Pep wants it, because our scouting team, our technical analysts wants it. So money is not an issue in this transfer window. What is an issue is, will the players we bring in, will they add to the stability of our team, or will they add to the vulnerability of our team? That is the most important thing in this transfer window. Unlike a lot of other clubs who are looking to bargain the prices and all of that, for us quality matters. Quality in the sense of enhancing our squad, not just on the field but also off the pitch, affecting the balance of the squad in a positive way. That is what is important in the transfer window. And Dilip for me is interesting. I'll tell you why it was why it's very interesting to me, because when we were linked to Dilip back in that 2018-19 season, right? What was our situation? Our situation was that John Stones was almost looking on his way out of the club. In fact, at the end of that season, I've even made a video that's when we actually started the channel new. And back then, at the end of the 2018-19 season, I actually made a video that John Stones should now look to leave the club to enhance his career. John Stones was having a lot of injury problems back then in 18-19. So signing Deleft, see, Deleft is a player who has all the attributes of John Stones, but right now John Stones, I would say this season has performed even better than Ruben Diaz, even better than Aymeric Laporte in some aspects. That Atletico game, John Stones was leading the line. He was leading us at the back. So Mathis Deleft and John Stones are similar sort of players, but Deleft was of more utility in the 18-19 season and not now. And also Deleft has struggled at Juventus. He is not the player what many people thought him to be. And right now I don't see the place for someone like a Mathis Deleft here, because okay, would he play in the case of in the place of Ake, but Deleft would not be starting every game. Would Deleft really want to come to our club at 23, 24 years of age right now to be a fourth choice defender? Because Laporte, Stones, Diaz, and it would almost be, see, our four centre backs, the uniqueness among them is each of them brings in a different quality. Laporte, left footer, pings those diagonal balls well. Stones, dribbling, passing, that passing range, playing in those tight spaces, close control and all. Ruben Diaz, physical kind of centre back. But Deleft doesn't. Ake is another other kind of centre back who's good in the air, who's good in one-on-one situations and all of those things. Defensively solid, but Delif doesn't bring you anything unique. So why bring him to this club? So that is my thing. And also, honestly, I don't think we'll get him, because the news is that Chelsea are in the front seat for him. Even news is that Real Madrid have joined him, but that is bullshit. So Chelsea are at the front for Delif, especially with Jules Koundé to miss out for them and all of those things. My opinion is, I do not want Delif anywhere near us again, because even if Ake is sold, promote someone from the youth setup. That's all. Been saying this about the youth this season. I've been going on, but that is what we need to do. Another interesting piece of news is that this won't sound good for United fans, but will sound like music to City fans. Frankie De Jong, a big update coming in on Frankie De Jong is that City are looking to gazump United in this Frankie De Jong deal. And another important piece of news from multiple outlets is that City's budget this season is almost towards 200 million pounds. If a special player is available, so that means 60 on Haaland, 50 on Calvin Phillips, and then 40 on another fullback. that would still leave somewhere around 60 70 million for Frankie de Jong. So again, I'm telling, this transfer window money is not a question. Would I want Frankie de Jong in the squad? This is an interesting question. A few days ago, I didn't want him because then the proposal was that Barcelona were asking for a swap, Bernardo Silva, Frankie de Jong, some cash involved. I did not want anyone to replace Bernardo Silva. He's almost unreplaceable. But Gundogan getting old, Gundogan with his back problems, it could almost seem like you bring in Frankie de Jong, and Frankie de Jong could transition into a natural replacement for Gundogan. He'll take a while to adjust to the Pep system, and next 1 2 years, and until then Gundogan will be on his way out. I think his contract is expiring next season, the end of next season or something like that. Gundogan's contract. So that will be interesting if it is to supplement what is there and not to replace Bernardo Silva. I'm all in for this Frankie de Jong transfer. Abraham James is here. Hello, Abraham. How are you doing? What about David Raum? Yes, Abraham. Actually, we did a video on David Raum yesterday. We were talking about him extensively, and the news is that Borussia Dortmund is in the front runner to sign David Raum, and the developments are that City are almost out of this Cucurella deal because Brighton want at least 60 million, upwards of 50 million for Cucurella, and City think that that is way above the valuation. And like we discussed in yesterday's video as well, what happened here is we didn't move fast enough, and Bissouma signed for Spurs, which means that Graham Potter was not wanting to leave, not wanting to let two of his best players leave in one transfer window. Two players who are vital to his philosophy, Cucurella and Bissouma. So always when that Bissouma deal happened, I was skeptical. Now what about Cucurella? We need to move fast if we wanted to get him. If we got Cucurella, for example, first, then maybe Brighton would have kept Bissouma for another year. So it would have been the other way around. It's just with Haaland, for example. If we didn't move early for Haaland, then maybe Madrid would have swamped in and all. So I think that is the reason why we are looking at David Raum. And both of them, just a word on David Raum, both of Cucurella and David Raum are kind of a different players because Cucurella is from the La Masia Academy. He understands Pep system, proven in the Premier League, and is a starter. If he comes, he starts because he knows all of Pep's philosophies. David Raum, Bundesliga, yes, he's a versatile defender. David Raum has got 13 assists playing at wingback this season for Hoffenheim. But David Raum is not a guaranteed starter in this Pep Guardiola system. So that is why I still wanted Cucurella, but I think the news on that David Raum front is just because just because it seems we're out of the Cucurella deal and we're searching on other players. But I would like David Raum at the club, but only as a second alternative to Cucurella. And also another thing I don't understand is, okay, Frankie de Jong, Barcelona are vulnerable. Pep likes the player, we know that. But why do you want to spend 70 80 million on de Jong? Why don't you pay that extra 10 20 million for Cucurella? That is one thing that is still puzzling to me. And yesterday, after the David Ram video, and one of our subscriber, he commented that even Cucurella could pose the same problem like an Eric Garcia, that he's a La Masia graduate, and generally these La Masia graduates, they want to go back to their home club. So subscriber was telling that it's good if we sign David Raum actually, who would be a long term fix at left back. We don't want someone who would go away after 1 or 2 years or after 4 years in that position, and again we look for an alternative. So in that sense, David Raum is better. See, there are both pros and cons of David Raum. The adaptability to positional play. His positional play is not as good as a Cucurella. It is understandable. He needs time to adjust to Pep system, coming from a foreign league, a league into where physicality is more, a league where referees allow more physical contact, and not all of the players who come from the Bundesliga to a Premier League have been successful in the past, especially defenders. So there's so many pros and cons involved in the deal, and for that reason, I see the pros for Cucurella more than the cons. And the biggest thumbs up for Cucurella is he has played in that Graham Potter system, and it's comparable to Pep Guardiola system. And if Pep, when Pep goes, Everybody knows that I want Graham Potter to replace him. So that is how much similar Graham Potter and Pep Guardiola play. So that is why it's a no-brainer that we should look to go for this Cucurella deal till the last minute actually. And this Frankie De Jong deal for me, it's not a bad deal, but could it bring in a kind of instability in the team? See, there is Gundogan. This is the con of this Frankie De Jong deal I'm talking about. See, there is Gundogan and Bernardo Silva is there. Gundogan plays sometimes, but if Frankie comes, Frankie is directly competing with Bernardo Silva. Would Bernardo Silva like to share the playing time with Frankie De Jong because both of them play a similar position, right? So that I don't know if that happens. I think Bernardo might feel unsettled and Bernardo might actually want to go to Barcelona or another club because here we are getting two players in their absolute prime who play the same position. That has never worked out well. You see any of the teams in the past, Real Madrid in their prime, Guti and Ozil in the same position, Ozil and Kaká. It didn't work out for Kaká. So whenever it happens that two players in their prime play in the same come to play in the same position, it doesn't work out for one of them sadly. So that is the main con why I don't want Frankie De Jong. Otherwise, he has all the technical attributes and everything, and there's no need for us to spend that much money on Frankie De Jong. Instead, we can spend it to fix that left hand side altogether. So see, where can City go after this season? Because every season we are getting points in the mid 90s, 90s in the Premier League, right? So where can they go next? In which dimension? Okay, Champions League, but in the Premier League, unlocking the left hand side, creating a monster on the left hand side, Ford and Cucurella on the left hand side with De Bruyne drifting over there. That would just work havoc because till now we have not had a fullback with a natural left foot and defend and teams have been defending narrow because they know Cancel on the left has to cut in so he can defend narrow. He can't play. He can't come out and cross the ball. But now with a natural left-footed fullback, we can do that. So that is really gonna open up another dimension. Opponents have to worry about Haaland, they'll have to worry about that left hand side. They can't, they'll be stretched, and you'll have the runs of your Bernardo Silva, of your De Bruyne, of your Fodens going through those spaces. So that is why I really think it is imperative for us to unlock that left hand. See, in the Champions League against Madrid as well, where did the goal come from? The goal came from our right hand side, right? Our left hand in the second leg, our left hand side attacking was almost not there. It was almost dead in the second leg. That is because Madrid learned their lessons from the first leg. They started defending narrow and stuff like that. So that is what we can avoid. We can bring a multi-dimensional thing to our play next season. So I do not want to think that Cucurella is off as of now, but reports are suggesting otherwise. We have to see what will happen anyway. And then other left back is Abner Vinicius of AC Milan. I would like to mention actually. He's also in a shout out for this left back position, but he's not a typical Pep Guardiola kind of player. He doesn't like to play these intricate passes. Abner Vinicius. Coutinho is here. He says spending 60 to 70 million on De Jong is a huge risk considering replacing a proven all-rounder like Bernardo Silva. But County, that is the thing. If it was a replacement for Bernardo Silva, Frankie De Jong, I would say outright no. The club would say outright no because Bernardo has 4 or 5 years left on his deal. Okay, if he wants to leave, that's another thing. But what I'm saying is De Jong for Ilkay Gundogan actually. Both are almost similar profile of players in terms of box to box and things like that, right? So I'm saying if it's for replacing Gundogan, then it's actually not a bad deal, you see, because how much would a player like Gundogan, for example, in his prime, let us take Gundogan back to 25, 26 years of age, how much would he be in the transfer market? 60 million? 70 million now with the inflation of attackers and all right now. So that is what we are getting Frankie De Jong for. So it is to replace Gundogan and not to replace Bernardo Silva. It's a big no for Bernardo Silva in exchange of any player. It's for Ilkay Gundogan actually, and that too could be a risk actually because Gundogan has 1 year left on his contract, and but then the risk here is not to replace Bernardo Silva but competing for Bernardo Silva because in the past we have seen when Bernardo Silva feels the heat, that he's not secure about his position in the team. He doesn't always give, I mean, he doesn't always play at 100%. So, I mean, it depends on the kind of player. And Bernardo Silva is a kind of player that you need to shower him with a bit of security that, yes, go and play your game, and I'll be there to back you. So, that is why I don't want Dion to challenge Bernardo Silva there. Continuous doubt if Dion can make those darting runs like Gundogan. And honestly, I didn't watch much of La Liga to judge De Jong. Those darting runs. I think those darting runs are almost like it's having a sense. You have it or not. I think, and I think you learn it a bit by experience. I don't think you can get any of the players in the world who can make those exact darting runs. This is one of the reasons why I'm a bit skeptical about Sterling leaving as well. Okay, Sterling cannot finish and all, but his movement, just like you said for Gundogan, even Sterling's movement is interesting. You don't have players with the profile of that kind of a movement, that kind of being at the near post. But why he's at the near post, that sense. So I really think that uh, De Jong can't make those runs like Gundogan, but he can learn it. I think because the way City play, they stretch the defenders. There'll be spaces to run into and all. So I do think that Dion will learn it by age, because Gundogan was not always making those runs. At Dortmund, if you see in his early years, he's developed it with his experience and all. So that will not be a problem. You can't get a like to like player to replace Gundogan in the market. Dion is the one, but I honestly don't understand what United is going to do here, because why have United not snapped up Frankie De Jong? I know De Jong doesn't want to come, but the news from a United point of view is Barcelona want 80 million pounds or close to that, and United are at 60. I mean, if just talking a bit from United's perspective, a manager is coming and telling you, I want this player as a first signing, I think you need to give him. You should not worry about the price, because if City gazump De Jong for you, I do not know what United will do. And one lesson I've always learned is, looking at the past transfer windows, do not gazump anybody's transfers. Look at what happened when United gazumped Harry Maguire from us. Look at what happened when United gazumped Fred from us. They stole him from us in the last moment. Look at what happened when Chelsea gazumped Jorginho from us. Jorginho is okay, he's been good, but he's not been at that level for Chelsea. So I somehow have this feeling it's not good to gas on the transfer at the last thing, but it's again up to the player. And I guess if City going, Frankie would want to come to City because Champions League football, Guardiola. But what I worry is about who he'll be challenging with. And my second worry, the biggest worry, what I've been telling on the channel time and again, is James McAtee. What will happen to James McAtee if Frankie De Jong comes in? What will happen to his development? This transfer window, like I was saying, should be about, how do we make the environment more secure for our youth? How do we make the transition from for our youth that much more simpler? And suddenly you bring in a Frankie De Jong, McCarthy might just feel that he's not secure. The team doesn't want him. He'll be looking for pastures elsewhere. Pep was talking about Phil Foden's exposure in the middle of the park. What about Jack Grealish? So there are a lot of dimensions to this Frankie De Jong transfer that have the ability to unstabilize this team. When you're really winning, when you're at the very top, people say that you need to improve more and buy better players. But the reality is, you need to buy players that don't affect the balance of the team. You need to buy players that do not create groups in the dressing room, that do not disturb the dressing room. That is an even more important aspect than actually buying players. It is important to keep the group together. This group has gone through so much. Aston Villa 2-0 down, Coutinho scores, no chance, absolutely no chance of coming back from that situation. But this group did it, especially after that Real Madrid defeat. I guarantee you, it was in my mind. 75th minute, 75th minute, still it was 2-0 before Gundogan scores the first goal. The demons of Real Madrid were ringing through my head. They would have been ringing in the crowd, in the players. Oh, what is this? Out in the semi-final like this, surrendering the title like this, smash. The mentality would have been smashed. But the fact we came back from that situation is a tribute to the team spirit. spirit, is a tribute to the togetherness, the comradeship between these players, and you should not bring in any player who breaks that spirit in between the players, however talented he might be. That's why I didn't want Pogba, because it's not about the play personality of the player, but it's about him adjust into this group. And Pogba is a player who's like, it's me or nobody. And those kind of players might not be the best thing in this system, and that's why, if you ask my opinion, no De Jong this transfer window, no to De Jong at all. Just bring in a DM and just bring in a left back. Calvin Phillips looks like, when the Athletic is reporting, Phillips will come, and just bring in a full back and left back and close the transfer window. Prepare for pre-season. That is what we need to do. Anyway, guys, I really hope you have enjoyed the show. Actually, it was a lot to discuss today, a lot of interesting pieces of news coming in today. It was great chatting with you all, guys, as well. Do smash your like button if you have really enjoyed the video, and also do click on the bell icon so that you will get notifications whenever we come up with new videos. And we'll come up with a video around this time every day, like we've been doing the last couple of days, discussing about anything related to city that come out throughout the day. So see you all, guys, and take care.